Have you ever looked at the moon and wondered what secrets it might be hiding? What if I told you Earth has its own moon, but that moon has a moon of its own? A hidden, orbiting satellite that no one noticed until now. And what it carries is far beyond anything we can imagine. Some say it is just a rock. Some say it is a cosmic anomaly. But what if it is alive? Watching, waiting, deciding. Tonight, we explore what happens when this mysterious moon's moon begins to influence Earth in ways that will shock you, terrify you, and leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about our world. Will humanity survive its gaze? Or are we already part of something far greater and far more dangerous? Watch till the end, and make sure to hit that subscribe button because this is a journey through a mystery that you will never forget. The night sky looked almost ordinary. Stars scattered like shattered glass across the darkness. The familiar round glow of the moon hung above the horizon, calm and silent. But then, a second light appeared. Smaller, dimmer, orbiting around the moon itself. A moon of the moon. At first, astronomers thought it was a rock. Just another captured asteroid. But when telescopes locked on, something felt wrong. It was not drifting randomly. It was moving with purpose. The tiny sphere circled with mechanical precision, as if following a rhythm. On Earth, people gathered in fields, staring at the sky. Some gasped. Others whispered. Children pointed with wide eyes. The air felt heavier, like the world was holding its breath. And then the tremors began. Waves in the ocean rose higher than they should have. The tides twisted, pulled by two forces at once. The water did not crash. It climbed, crawling inland like a living creature. The ground shook. Windows rattled. Dogs howled at the sky, as if they sensed something ancient stirring. The smaller moon brightened. Its surface shimmered like molten silver. And for a moment, it looked alive. The narrator's voice cracked on live television. Ladies and gentlemen, it is not rock. It is hollow. A silence swept across the world. Every eye turned upward, waiting, praying. And then a sound ripped through the night. A low hum, deep and resonant, vibrating through every bone. It was not wind, not thunder, something alive. The smaller moon pulsed, like a heartbeat against the vast silence of space. A shadow stretched across the main moon's face. It was moving toward Earth. People froze, unable to look away. The air grew colder. Even the winds stilled, as if the planet itself was holding its breath. Satellites trembled in orbit. Lights flickered in cities across continents. The smaller moon's glow sharpened into shapes, geometric patterns, symbols that made no sense. Yet they felt familiar, like something remembered from dreams. Animals scattered, screaming into the darkness. The ocean roared, waves taller than buildings, pushed by invisible hands. And then a flash. Not bright like the sun, but a deep silver that burned behind closed eyes. The ground quaked violently. People fell to their knees. Windows shattered, trees bent, mountains seemed to shiver. From a moon's moon, something descended. Not fire, not smoke, a shadow larger than any storm. It hovered silently above the Earth's atmosphere. No noise, no movement, just an overwhelming presence. And in the darkness, the sky itself seemed to bend. Time slowed. Breathing became a labor. Hearts pounded in unison across the planet. The moon's moon pulsed again, and this time it opened. A slit, wide and impossibly deep, revealing a hollow interior. Inside, light twisted. Shapes moved. Figures that were not human, not animal. Something watched. Something aware. Something patient. And then the smaller moon tilted, as if deciding who would survive the night. The figures inside the hollow moon moved with impossible grace. They were shadows, yet they glimmered with silver light. The world below felt their gaze, heavy and inescapable. Mountains trembled. Oceans heaved. Every living thing sensed a presence older than the earth itself. Then, a single beam of light shot from the moon's moon. It struck a city, not with fire, not with destruction, but with knowledge. Images, memories, emotions flooded the minds of everyone nearby. Strangers suddenly understood each other without words. Languages vanished. Secrets spilled. Dreams intertwined. Some people laughed. Some screamed. Some fainted, overwhelmed by the impossible truths they now held. And then the moon's moon shifted. Slowly, purposefully, it aligned directly between the sun and Earth. A shadow fell across the planet. Not darkness, but clarity. The air shimmered. Colors twisted. Stars blinked into new constellations. The shadow pulsed. The figures whispered in unison. A sound not meant for human ears. A vibration that pierced bones and hearts alike. And then, the first human thought aloud what no one dared to imagine. They are asking for something. Something impossible. Something eternal. And in the pause before Earth could respond, the smaller moon tilted again, its hollow interior opening wider, revealing a vast portal, spinning slowly toward the planet. The wind screamed. Oceans rose. The world waited. And the first tendrils of the moon's moon reached toward Earth. The tendrils of light stretched closer to Earth, moving like liquid silver. They did not touch the ground, yet the air itself trembled beneath them. Mountains shivered. Oceans rose higher, curling into impossible shapes. The sky rippled, bending as if reality itself were a sheet of water. People looked up, frozen, their hearts pounding in unison. Then, the tendrils connected with the atmosphere. A hum filled every corner of the world, deep and infinite. It was not sound. It was understanding. Memories of every human, every creature, every stone and river merged into the pulse of the moon's moon. The planet felt small, insignificant, yet alive. The figures inside the hollow moon emerged, shimmering into forms of impossible geometry. Eyes like stars stared at Earth, seeing everything and nothing at once. And then, the portal opened fully. A swirling vortex of silver and shadow stretched from the moon's moon toward the planet. It did not consume. It did not destroy. It demanded acknowledgement. The world held its collective breath. A single thought, unspoken but shared, rose from every human mind. We are ready. The vortex pulsed, and then, in a flash that was felt in bones and souls, it touched Earth. Reality shattered. Time bent. The familiar world became something else. Light twisted. Shadows danced. Stars blinked in patterns no human could name. And for the first time, humanity understood the vastness of the universe and the quiet patience of the moon's moon. It was not an enemy, not a god. It was a witness. And Earth was no longer alone. The pulse of the moon's moon lingered in the air, like a heartbeat pressed against the chest of the planet. Time felt fractured. Seconds stretched into minutes, minutes into hours. People walked, but their feet felt heavier, as if the gravity of understanding had changed. The skies shimmered with silver streaks that defied logic. Even the sun seemed altered, its warmth uneven, filtered through layers of strange light. Whispers filled the minds of everyone on Earth. Not words, not language, but ideas, emotions, and memories not their own. Some wept, some trembled, some laughed uncontrollably. The figures in the hollow moon watched silently, their shapes shifting like liquid mirrors. And then, one of them stepped forward, if stepping could describe movement without legs. It reached toward the ocean. The water rose willingly, folding in on itself, forming shapes that resembled cities from forgotten dreams. Lightning arced without sound, painting the sky in impossible patterns. And yet, no one felt fear, only awe. The tendrils of the moon's moon began to descend into the continents, touching mountains, touching forests, touching every living thing with a strange, almost tender weight. A low vibration spread through the planet, resonating with hearts, trees, oceans, and stone. And then, the first human understood. It was not the moon's moon that had come for something. It was offering something, something so vast, so incomprehensible, it could not be held in words. A doorway opened in the skies above. Not a portal for travel, but a doorway for perception, for understanding the universe in ways humans had never dreamed. And the first tendrils of the moon's moon merged with the doorway. The stars blinked. The air hummed. and Earth shivered in anticipation of what was to come. The doorway in the sky pulsed like a heartbeat, silver and liquid. The moon's moon moved closer, its tendrils reaching into the very fabric of Earth's reality. Mountains bowed. Oceans rose like sentient creatures, curling around cities without harming a single soul. Time did not stop. It folded. It twisted. Moments repeated themselves, but differently each time. People began seeing echoes of themselves, lives they could have lived, decisions never made, faces of strangers who felt intimately familiar. The sky split into layers of light, revealing stars beyond stars, galaxies within galaxies. Every living being felt a strange clarity, as if the universe was whispering its secrets into their bones. And then the figures inside the hollow moon became one with the doorway. A vast, incomprehensible shape stretched across the sky, folding and unfolding, pulsating with every heartbeat on Earth. It did not speak. It did not act. It simply existed, and humans understood, for the first time, the vastness of consciousness itself. Some fell to their knees, overwhelmed. Some reached out instinctively, touching the light that had no substance. And then the doorway flickered. A single tendril extended farther, piercing the clouds, the atmosphere, and brushing against human minds. Visions flooded every soul simultaneously. Earth's past, present, and infinite possibilities of the future, all merging into one. No one could look away. No one could resist. And the moon's moon waited, patiently, watching humanity awaken to truths too vast for any language. The stars blinked, as if applauding silently. And in the final moment before the light receded, one thought united all minds. We're not alone, and we never were. The light slowly receded, folding back into the hollow moon. The tendrils withdrew, leaving Earth feeling both smaller and infinitely larger. The sky returned to normal, almost. Stars blinked in patterns no human could name, like a secret language written across the heavens. Oceans settled, mountains straightened, winds whispered across the land. Yet the air still vibrated with the memory of the moon's moon. People looked at each other, seeing traces of the shared visions in their eyes. No one spoke at first. Words felt inadequate. Children pointed at the sky, sensing the presence had not fully left. Astronomers observed in stunned silence. Notebooks abandoned, theory shattered. The moon's moon lingered above, a quiet sentinel. It did not move, it did not speak. It only watched. And somewhere deep in human consciousness, a question took root. A question that could not be answered. A question that would never leave them. What will it do next? Time resumed, but it was different. The world had changed. Humans had changed. And every night, when a moon shone above, a faint pulse reminded them of the silent observer waiting patiently, beyond understanding, beyond fear, beyond time itself. Weeks passed, but the pulse in the air never fully faded. People reported strange phenomena. Shadows moved against the light. Whispers echoed in empty streets. Dreams no longer felt private. Everyone carried fragments of the moon's moon within them. Some saw glimpses of stars that should not exist. Some heard melodies that were not music. Animals behaved differently, as if they remembered something forgotten. The moon's moon did not descend. It hovered silently, a guardian, a watcher, an enigma. And then, one night, it shifted slightly. A movement so subtle, most would not notice it. But for those who watched, a cold understanding settled in their bones. It was waiting, and waiting meant that it would act. The sky shimmered with a faint silver glow. No one knew when. No one knew how. Only that humanity had glimpsed a force far older than civilization, far beyond comprehension. And in that quiet, every heart asked the same unspoken question. Is the moon's moon patient or hungry? Nights grew longer, though the calendar said otherwise. The moon's moon pulsed quietly, almost imperceptibly. People reported hearing a hum, low and resonant, that vibrated through the ground and air alike. Even the wind seemed to pause, listening. Some looked up and swore the moon itself had changed, its edges sharper, its glow colder. Animals refused to leave their shelters, huddling as though sensing a predator that was not flesh. A few brave souls tried to measure it, study it, explain it. All failed. Instruments went haywire. Clocks ran backward. Compasses spun wildly. Then, in one moment, the smaller moon tilted again. A silver beam shot from its hollow core, piercing the atmosphere, touching land, water, and sky simultaneously. Humans froze. Cities fell silent. Oceans stopped their restless dance. And from that beam, shapes began to descend, not solid, not liquid, but shadows of impossible geometry. They hovered above the world, bending light, bending sound, bending thought itself. Every human felt a pull, deep in the chest, like a heartbeat syncing with something eternal. The moon's moon had chosen, and the world could only wait. The shadows above the earth hovered, motionless yet impossibly alive. Light bent around them, forming patterns that made the eyes ache to follow. No wind, no sound, only the low hum that thrummed in every chest. People who looked up felt memories that were not theirs, ancient histories, lost worlds, moments that had never happened. And then, the beam of silver split into tendrils, stretching toward the land. They did not touch violently. They touched gently, brushing over cities, forests, oceans, leaving a cold warmth in their wake. Humans felt their minds open, expanding, understanding concepts beyond language. Some cried, some laughed, some screamed silently, trapped in revelation. A child reached out, instinctively, toward one of the tendrils. It wrapped around her hand like liquid silver, yet caused no pain. And she saw, not with eyes, not with ears. She saw the universe, not as it appeared, but as it truly was. Stars were not distant. Galaxies were not separate. All existence was connected, a web of light, thought, and infinite possibility. The figures inside the hollow moon watched, silently, as humanity glimpsed the impossible. And then, one of the shapes moved closer to Earth itself. Its edges dissolved, folding space around it, touching minds directly. Every human felt it simultaneously, a presence that was neither benevolent nor malevolent. It was beyond morality. It was observation. And in that moment, the planet shivered, as if awakening from a dream it had not known it was living. The moon's moon pulsed one final time for the night, and the silver tendrils retracted slowly. But the knowledge remained. The memory of the impossible remained. And Earth would never be the same again. Days passed, yet the pulse never fully faded. The moon's moon lingered above, hovering silently, its hollow core faintly glowing. People began to notice subtle changes. The tides moved in patterns that no astronomer could predict. Animals behaved strangely, as if remembering a world older than Earth itself. Even the wind carried whispers, fragments of thought not their own. Some humans reported visions while awake. Cities seemed to shift subtly, streets appearing where none had existed before. Children spoke in languages they had never learned, words that sounded like music and geometry at once. The moon's moon tilted again. This time, the light that escaped it formed a thin silver bridge stretching toward Earth. It did not crash. It did not strike. It beckoned, and a few brave, or foolish, souls stepped onto the light. Their bodies shimmered, becoming semi-transparent, like they were woven into the fabric of the moon itself. They returned moments later, or perhaps days, hours, or centuries later. Their eyes held galaxies. Their voices carried knowledge no one could comprehend. And then the moon's moon pulsed, once deliberately. A single thought echoed across every mind on Earth. We are watching. We are waiting. And soon we will decide. The planet held its breath. The sky shimmered with impossible light. And every human, every living creature, felt a silent, undeniable certainty. Earth was no longer the master of its own fate. The moon's moon had claimed the night, and perhaps the world itself. Weeks became months, yet the moon's moon did not move. Its hollow glow pulsed softly. A heartbeat felt across the entire planet. Humans grew restless, eyes always drawn skyward, hearts heavy with anticipation. Strange phenomena became daily life. Rivers flowed uphill for hours. Mountains seemed to bend toward the moon's moon, subtle but undeniable. Birds flew in intricate patterns, repeating shapes that mirrored the glowing geometry above. Then one night, the silver bridge extended fully. It touched the earth in a single, impossibly precise point, a desert far from any city. A hush fell over the world. No one approached it first, but curiosity and something deeper pulled people forward. Scientists, soldiers, children, elders, all drawn by a force they could not resist. As they gathered, the moon's moon pulsed again. The ground beneath them shimmered. Shadows rose, twisting into shapes that seemed familiar, yet not. The air vibrated with thought, not sound. And then, a voice, not human, not animal, not mechanical, resonated through every mind. "You are ready." The words carried no emotion, yet every human understood perfectly. The silver bridge began to fold inward, pulling the gathered people toward the moon's moon. Not painfully, not violently, like a gentle tide, inevitability itself. The stars above twisted, forming patterns that mirrored the moon's moon. Time felt fluid, space felt fluid, and humanity realized, with awe and terror intertwined, that they were about to cross the threshold of something utterly beyond comprehension. The moon's moon had waited for this moment, and now Earth was next. The silver bridge pulled the gathered humans upward, not into space, but into something beyond space. Light folded around them, soft yet impossible, like walking inside a star. Time lost meaning. Seconds stretched, folded, and overlapped. The moon's moon pulsed again, and the hollow core opened wider. Inside, shapes of unimaginable geometry floated, shifting and alive. Every thought, every memory, every possibility flowed like liquid light into the travelers' minds. They saw Earth, not as it was, but as it could be, planets dancing in impossible orbits, oceans that shimmered with sentient light, forests that whispered truths older than the sun. The travelers gasped, laughed, wept, and trembled simultaneously. And then, the moon's moon spoke again, not in words, not in sounds, but directly into consciousness. "You have been chosen to witness. You have been chosen to remember. You are now part of the cosmos itself." The bridge retracted slowly. Those who had crossed returned to Earth, but nothing was the same. Their eyes held galaxies. Their voices carried truths no language could contain. Even those who had not crossed felt the change deep in their bones. The moon's moon pulsed one final time. A silver light washed over the planet, bending skies, seas, and minds alike. And then it hovered, silent, patient, waiting for the next moment humanity would reach beyond itself. Earth was no longer the master of its fate, but perhaps it had become something greater. The moon's moon watched, always watching, and somewhere in the vastness of space, it pulsed again, a heartbeat across eternity. The moon's moon lingered in orbit, silent but undeniably present. Earth spun beneath it, familiar yet changed, as if reality itself had been rewritten in subtle ways. The air still shimmered at night, with faint silver pulses. People woke with fragments of visions, not their own, memories of places they had never been, whispers of knowledge they could not yet comprehend. Cities seemed unchanged, yet streets sometimes bent in impossible directions when no one was looking. Animals acted differently, instinctively avoiding certain places, staring at the sky with unblinking eyes. And then, the moon's moon tilted slightly, just enough to cast a long shadow across the earth. The pulse returned, softer this time, but undeniable. Every human felt it in the chest, a reminder of the incomprehensible presence above. No one knew its purpose. No one could predict its next action. And yet, all who looked up understood one silent truth. Earth was no longer alone, and the moon's moon had not finished watching. Some nights, when the silver light sweeps across the horizon, whispers seem to drift into human consciousness. Not words, not language, but thoughts, suggestions, questions that no human could answer. A question that will linger generation after generation. When it acts again, will we be ready? Months passed, yet the moon's moon did not move from its orbit. Its hollow core glimmered faintly, pulsing with a rhythm that resonated across continents. People began noticing changes in subtle ways. Night skies no longer appeared the same. Stars shifted imperceptibly. Tides moved in patterns no one could predict. Plants grew in shapes that mimicked the silver geometry of the moon's moon. And then, one evening, the pulse accelerated. It was faster, sharper. A thin silver light arced from the moon's moon, touching the tops of the highest mountains first. Birds froze mid-flight. Wind stilled. Oceans seemed to pause. Every human felt the pulse in their chest, sharper this time, almost like a warning. Children shivered, as if they remembered something from before they were born. And in the faint glow, a new pattern emerged on the moon's surface. A spiral of light, moving like liquid, twisting toward a single point on Earth. The air grew heavy, almost tangible, as if the planet itself was holding its breath. The pulse slowed for a moment, then surged violently. And humanity realized, with quiet, collective dread, that the moon's moon was preparing to act again. Not gently, not observationally, but decisively. The world waited, and the first thought across every mind was the same. Whatever comes next, it will change everything. The spiral of light descended slowly toward Earth. It did not touch the ground, but hovered above the atmosphere, suspended like a silver storm. Every human felt it, a pressure, a hum, a whisper in the mind. No one could move. No one could speak. Animals cowered. Trees shivered. Oceans rippled unnaturally. The spiral began to widen, stretching tendrils of silver across continents. They did not burn. They did not crash. They weaved. Tendrils touched oceans, bending waves into impossible patterns. They brushed forests, causing leaves to shimmer with unearthly light. And every human who looked up felt memories of worlds that had never existed. The pulse grew stronger. It was no longer distant observation. It was influence. The moon's moon was reaching into reality itself. Buildings seemed to shift subtly. Streets curved in ways that made no geometric sense. Even the sun appeared to flicker, its light fractured into shapes like liquid glass. Then the spiral tightened, aiming at a single point, the heart of a city, untouched yet perfectly aligned with the moon's moon above. People watched, paralyzed with awe and terror. And in that moment, the silver light formed a doorway. A doorway not through space, but through perception itself. And every human understood. This was not just observation. This was an invitation to step beyond reality or be forever changed by it. The silver doorway hovered above the city, pulsating gently. People stood at its base, hesitant, hearts racing, minds expanding beyond comprehension. Some stepped forward. Others froze, paralyzed by fear and awe. And then, the moon's moon pulsed one final time. A wave of light washed over the earth, gentle but all-encompassing. Memories, visions, and knowledge flowed into every living being, not to overwhelm, but to awaken. Time resumed its steady rhythm. The streets, forests, and oceans returned to familiar patterns, yet everything felt different. Humans looked at one another and realized they carried something new, a sense of unity, of understanding, of infinite possibility. The moon's moon hovered silently, a sentinel in the night sky. It no longer needed to act. Its presence was enough. And slowly, almost imperceptibly, it receded into its orbit, distant yet ever watchful. The stars shimmered with new light. The winds whispered ancient secrets. Earth had changed, not destroyed, not conquered, but awakened. And humanity, forever touched by the moon's moon, gazed upward in quiet wonder, hearts full of questions without answers, minds full of visions beyond imagination. The moon's moon remained, a silent guardian in the cosmos, waiting, watching, always. And the world understood, in a way words could never capture. Some mysteries are not meant to be solved. Some wonders are meant to be experienced. And some guardians are eternal. The night sky was no longer just a backdrop. It was alive, and humanity would never look at the moon or the stars the same way again.